2023, last advisory board meeting for May. Call to order. We'll do roll call. I am here, Miguel Martinez.
Brian Morera.
Angelo Garcia.
Angela Misto. Stephen Herder.
And Rudy said he's en route. He's in a.
Actually, I'm not even in the, I'm not even on paper.
You're there. There you go. Right there. Look at last slide.
All right.
You're there.
All right, but we have a form.
Oh, okay. All right, that's,
Did John call? Or say?
Any word from John? Negative?
3-6, we do quorum.
Stephen, I didn't really get a chance to review the notes. Oh, I'm sorry, let's get.
I didn't get the minutes out.
Oh, okay.
No, we should have minutes for last week, because we
Oh, so we're
basically
just
just
gonna defer.
took minutes.
Huh?
I'll get them.
So we'll just defer on
Yeah.
that when we get to it. Sorry, no, I jumped the order, my bad. No, I just had a question.
All right, so public comments, any public comments?
I will share with you, I guess, part of a public comment, a number of a resident that called us, pretty much concerned about blasting and her not feeling like the town is doing, so I called her back because I'm not very knowledgeable on the subject, but I wanted to explain to her that we have a blasting advisory board and, you guys get together and so happened to meet today. I invited her out, and I'm not sure if she heard my voicemail, but I also shared her number with you, in case you have a chance to reach out. I think it would be great.
All right, I saw it in the parking lot. So.
No worries.
For the record, I'd like the name and the number noted on our minutes. It is a public record, so it should be public.
I'll
record.
send it to you guys right.
So it's while the secretary.
So put in the-
Actually, public comments, actually, pretty much, there's a gentleman in my neighborhood, there's several, that I've asked him for the support, which I'm gonna be running for town council again. And I've talked to him that I'm part of the blasting advisory committee, and these were the gentleman's exact words. What have you guys done in the last 5 or 6 years?
We didn't exist 5 or 6 years.
You haven't?
Bennett
5 years ago, we've been in it almost 6 years.
started. It was Bennett.
So the gentleman says, what have you guys done? You guys continue to just, I said, I don't have the exact answer. But you need to come through one of our meetings. That's the question. That's what he'd like to know. So what I want to know is when I start walking again, and I start telling people, or there's a lady that asked me one time, are you a doctor? I said, no, ma'am, I'm not a doctor. This is, are you an attorney? I said, I am not an attorney. Then I said, what are you going to ask me next? So basically what I'm trying to say is there's people that ask a lot of questions sometimes.
An advisory board is only an advisory board. If the council, we don't have the support of the council, and the council does not ask for certain bills and put forward things on the docket for the state representative or our state
That's what I would tell
representatives.
them.
Our state representatives don't support us through our council. We pay lobbyists to do the work also. So we're only an advisory board. We here have no authority. We can recommend, but if we don't have the support of the council and the council doesn't push the items through, the state representatives and the senators and everybody else aren't going to do anything. That's simple. It starts here, but it flows up to the diet. I didn't do 32 years of public service and blame a committee for not doing their job.
That's what the neighbor has told me. Yeah, I keep you.
If I may,
Yes,
you
that's right.
advise your neighbor.
Hmm?
We are limited
Exactly.
in our,
Don't blame us.
in what we can do and what we cannot do. However, what we have done, I highly recommend for him to get informed, come to the meeting, come to the events that we do and get informed from lobbying in Tallahassee, because although we do have limited support, it has been very effective when we have gone to Tallahassee. You were present with it. We have aided the Miami-Dade pilot program. As we were advised, there is no marketing. There's no money for marketing, for advertising this thing. There's over 3,000 complaints, official complaints to the state, and it's because of our doing.
I also, I think we need to also agree that it's part of Cindy Polo's doing, because when she started that Miami-Dade, that was back when
No.
Avila put that bill forward. I
That's
read
not
the
true.
bill.
That's not true.
Well, I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. I think that part, that era needs to be recognized when the first rally was held in the country club. So,
If I can just simplify it by saying, just talk to Miguel after for what you are gonna tell people, while you're out walking. I don't think that that's something for us to be discussing here in
Right.
a town sponsored meeting. So that's just my 2 cents.
So as far as public comments, he's welcome to come, as anybody and everybody, and they can ask what they want. But above all, they need to be informed before making comments that aren't or ill-informed. And comments like that is. All right. So we'll go to adoption of minutes.
Move to table.
second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Okay, with the next,
To the next meeting.
the old business. Review the insert presentation.
What order? Should we address the major issues that we need to address that are not on the agenda before this, like the budget and the, or do you want to do that in new business? Sorry.
On open discussion.
There's no,
Oh, and open
there's no
discussion?
addition deletions to this agenda. How come there's no addition?
Well, that's why I did it as a point of order.
We can add it.
So, well, just, I'll move them to add the budget discussion and is it the annual meeting?
Yeah.
Or the annual report?
It's a report.
Report to the
chair
council.
report to council.
Chair report to the council, add those 2 items as items 6C and 6D respectively.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let him know.
So moved.
I'll second.
No,
in
that's.
favor?
we can do that.
Motion to add then business,
To add as 6C, the budget discussion. And 6D, the report to the council, the chair report to the council. And then it was seconded by you. And I think it was.
Yes.
So 5A, review insert presentation. What do you guys think of the findings that were presented?
That was from the last meeting, right?
Yeah.
First, I'll say whatever we did to inform the public, I think it works best so far out of all the meetings we've had. I'm not sure what we did differently, but we had a good showing.
But
We had a huge showing from Miramar.
Thank you.
I had posted that all
That's
over.
true.
next
you
door.
you had 7 Miami Lakes residents in that audience.
Those
And I have to
Miramar.
commend the mayor of Miramar.
Yeah, agreed.
Did he
I have-
share about it? Did he share?
He spoke, he commanded the meeting after me.
Oh, no, I know that. I guess, how did everyone in Miramar find out?
I posted on next door.
Oh, I've been posting. on that.
Next door, and I had Patty also submit it to
Our group.
her Miramar Blasting Advisory Board and her community as well. Presentation.
And did, do you know if the mayor shared it as well? Or?
I don't believe he did. I think he was expecting more political elected to be there, to be present. There was, Fabricio had his aide there. He was traveling.
Thomas Aid was there.
Huh?
Thomas Aid was there.
Yes.
Tom's aide was there. Thomas Akala, which is Lala's aide. And
Garcia, they
Raymond.
came and left,
Raymond was there.
No, someone from Garcia's office was there.
and left.
I didn't
Who was it? Who was
Someone came and left.
I'm trying to think who else was there. There was a few people. And it was, I think it was very short.
And Ray was there.
Raymond was here. But I think it was very short for the intensity and what that meeting, what the presentation was about. It should have been standing room as always, but
Miguel, I don't know why we don't get Miami Lakers. That meetings, like, what is that?
your guess is good as
Miramar
mine.
is big time, and also not only Miramar, the little
PSN people were there.
Miramar, PSN, and the little Indian, what is it? The little town next to Miramar, that other little, there's a little influx of people that come from that little group. River something, oh my God, I spoke to them last night.
Miramar?
There's, Miramar, BSN, and another little group. By the country club area, they called something, I'll figure it out.
Country Club is, you're talking,
You're talking about the ranch?
island? No,
Big
it's
house in there?
it's in the middle of Country Club. It's a little island that's there,
Yeah,
but that's all Country
is
Club.
it Riviera?
No,
Riviera is like a.
that's one corporate thing.
Yeah, but they were still there,
Yes,
so that's the biggest group that you have,
and PSN.
yeah, BSN, Miram, and
Regarding the question that you asked, I think that the answer will always remain. The answer will always remain complacency.
Yes,
People expect things to be done for them. Someone else is handling this. And so they don't show up. It's the same reason why someone spoke to her and then she invites them and they don't show up. Someone spoke to him, he invites them to show up, they don't show up.
you're right.
It's the same thing. Obviously, public participation is, you know, as we always say, a civic duty, but it's in reality more of a, or in practice, it's more of a civic suggestion, because you don't have to show up. There's nothing binding you to show up. But that being said, it's the only way to truly show support and affect real policy change. It's the only way to show those who are elected, right? Since we're not elected, we're appointed. It's the only way to show the elected officials who have the real power that something that this committee is doing, they're behind. And then when we do have people show up, like, what was that meeting? What was that meeting we had not too long ago?
Yeah, the one-
Where the minds were, where the minds were supposed to show up, that become more of a,
the round table.
yeah, it becomes more of a mess than anything else, because rather than showing up here and bringing their questions here,
Thank you, everyone.
they decided to bring their questions there with questions that weren't really appropriate for that forum. They were more appropriate for a forum like this.
There were questions they were. able to-
Absolutely, no, not to say that I wasn't grateful that they showed up.
They could either, but at least.
Yeah,
they
that's
had-
true.
They had a forum to ask.
Correct, and it's, you know, something I noticed very quickly when I was in the HOA. You know, I was in the founding board of the HOA. Prior to us, it was the developer who met the obligatory meeting once a year. And it was always a bleep show, because it was 1 year of pent up emotions being cast out in one meeting.
Yeah.
And here, it's something like that, where they're not showing up here, so we're not hearing truly we're not getting the real public comment. Instead, it's at one of these very more public meetings where suddenly you have an outburst of frustration coming out, which is proper. The frustration is proper, but if only they had voiced it over here where it's more simple. Now, that's to answer your question. My question to, I guess, get to the point of this is the INSAR presentation. The INSAR is that person who was doing the satellite study map.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, how was that presentation specifically? Did it move minds? Did it move hearts? Is the presentation itself good, attractive
He
for
was
our
hard to
purposes?
understand, first of all, very hard to understand.
Like language wise?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Be
think,
German.
I think the level, the level that he was presenting was high.
Scientific.
Scientific wise, so it was difficult to follow if you're not in it, in the jive with him.
Is that the first time he delivers this kind of presentation?
He's a professor at UM, so
That doesn't mean
That,
nothing.
yeah, that doesn't mean that he's delivered this presentation specifically.
I don't know.
Because I only put it to say, the first time you delivered some of the presentations here, you were extremely technical to the point where it's been a business item here where we've dumbed your presentation
Right.
down. You know, I know that sounds horrible, but
It's not.
some of the stuff is very technical in what you do about the sine waves and the no sé qué, no sé cuánto. And then you have this gentleman coming in, he needs to hone his speech
Right.
down. And then also, if the accent is a barrier, then maybe someone has to help deliver.
With my presentations, and in all fairness, although I have. I think I feel that I brought it down to a level,
Yeah.
and it's to educate so everybody can understand and bring everybody up. But the flip side, you guys are understanding more now because you've heard me and you've learned it.
Mhm.
So it's a seesaw effect, and we need to find that middle
There's a
ground.
limit, bro.
But
But
we're all good students, so you can actually put everything he says, paper, because I have.
in fairness, though, I was advised
can say
that
it too.
the meeting was a disaster. They didn't explain anything, and it was coming from a person I
Who's
knew, this presenter, the professor. And in reality, it was somebody that didn't understand anything. So because he doesn't understand anything, then the meeting's garbage.
Right.
Well, that wasn't the meeting, that's you that you're.
Right, but there is the two issues, right? The high level.
Right.
It,
And he's
it
nonsense.
needs work because I think his presentation really could be done in a lot shorter period of time.
Yeah.
And like you said,
Understand.
right, that in practice, he was trying to get some demos, it wasn't
Right.
working here and there.
Putting that to the point of the committee of our advisory board, is there a pathway to working with him for our goals? Because he's doing his research independent of our situation,
Right.
like he's doing this situation worldwide, if I
And he's
remember
looking for
correctly.
Well,
Correct.
it's
That's right.
his research is worldwide,
We're not gonna
but
fund
this
them.
project is here.
My issue is the fund.
They're not gonna
Um,
fund them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're not gonna fund him.
I mean, the town's
We
not
can't
gonna
even get
fund them.
photos. And, but
True.
using his research, even then, he would want money for us using his published academic report in our own use. So there's a give and a take there. I think that there is promise, but then again, is he able to produce with accuracy something to show? You have to show causation, anything. You have to show, okay, movement, right? Now, I need to show movement with an epicenter being the blast sites, and I need to see less movement prior to,
I just realized-
prior to the mines going active, that there was
I just
less
realized-
such movement, If he can produce that, then I can see a correlation between our committee and him.
I can answer those questions.
Yeah.
One, the movement, the images that he's looking at now is low resolution. The low resolution, we'll consider it for layman's terms, the free version of the imagery of satellite imagery you can get. And that's what he was using. There are several properties that are high res, and I don't know why it exists that way. But what he's looking at is funding, and it would help pay for the high resolution imagery. So that's where the funding goes into, part of it. The next thing is the low resolution imagery allows you, because of the angles of the satellites and the math involved, to get, or what it's called, it's basically the settlement of the building, the vertical movement of the building. And this is what he's seeing, that he could see that he testified or proffered that there was 3/4 of an inch on one of the schools in Miramar in a month, from this date to this date. And it's dependent, obviously, the satellites are circling the Earth, where you're taking snapshots and you can measure your differences. So he could tell that the horizontal movement, or vertical movement, I'm sorry, that is occurring. To be able to get horizontal movement, you need the high resolution imagery. Now, it is suspected that if you can get the high resolution imagery, you'll have all these structures that are moving, and my office building is one of the ones, coincidentally, that he measured to 7/8 of an inch difference, of which I have a gap of 7/8 of an inch between two concrete slabs that correlate to what he stated, which blew me away. But if you have a series of buildings that are all moving in a certain direction, and not all moving east or moving west, and moving outwardly in a radial form from a center point, and obviously that center point has to be the point source to push and then that source is expected, obviously, to be the mine.
Yeah, like, I would imagine that what it would show, if it shows what we think it'll show, is you have White Run Quarry for properties in Miami Lakes, you would see a slightly southeast movement, but then there's that big HOA community just
Riviera.
north, Riviera. Just north there, you would see a movement north.
Right.
That's what
If
I'm
you
talking
see
about, Riviera.
Riviera, yeah, if you see, anything other than that, then it doesn't help us.
Right.
Well, I don't necessarily say it necessarily has to be, I mean, I guess the it's only the direction of movement, but it's just movement at all. Because I don't think building, I mean, obviously everything moves a little bit, but if you get the high resolution data for Miami Lakes and Miramar. And then you get high resolution data for South Miami, Miami Shores and Little Havana. And right, and you see the neighborhoods that aren't feeling the blast, their buildings aren't moving like. Miami Lakes buildings are for some reason moving more than other buildings in Dade County.
That's the vertical.
Right, I mean, that's called, there is too, the same idea of our. After the meeting, I spoke to them and said, can we just start doing a project where you go to homes in Miami Shores, you go to homes in Miami Lakes, you go to homes in South Miami. But you can probably find homes that were built by the same contractors.
Yeah.
And see the difference between the homes. And we said, yeah, that's another way to look at it too.
There's gonna be strata movement, whenever, in general.
Right.
Okay, so one of the problems in South Florida, South Miami, I can tell you, is the issue of muck. The building department is now requiring swimming pools from Orion South to be installed on piles. Deep foundations to hold the pools up because they're having a serious issue with the settling. But by Florida building code, you have to demuck whatever your building line is. So that tells me they're not doing it properly, in my opinion. However, it's also known that muck can be deep. It's shallow, 18 inches. My office building was 5 foot deep of muck that had to be removed and then filled again. So there's different things that need to be contended with, and it may not be doing that. However, that'll show you horizontal movement. Vertical movement. Horizontal movement is by Y, and then so things will come out that way. He was successfully able to predict the volcano eruption and movement of the lava flow in Hawaii. That was a big one. And if it had, he predicted it not flowing towards the populated area. And so it was a good call. They didn't have to evacuate areas because of his predictions on it, and it happened the way he forecasted it. So.
No, I get it.
No.
Well, the issue, of course, is what was the number?
$2 million.
$2 million. Yeah.
No, it wasn't
How much was it?
Yeah.
it's
That's what I remember.
it was
It was,
it's 500,000 per year. It's 1.5,
okay, 3 years, 500,000.
which I spoke to him and I have a meeting.
Where's the professor? UM?
He worked with UM, FAU, and University UCF. University. And FIU, the problem is he's been trying to get a huge and all-encompassing study, and that's not gonna fly.
No,
The
they
FIU
say
study,
the findings of a group, it's not him as an individual.
the FIU portion of the study is psychological effects of the blasting, and that's not gonna fly.
So I guess the question, since this is on our business, is there an action item on this at this time for us?
For us, no, I put it on.
Just keep it on our radar.
Yeah, keep it on the radar and we'll see.
I think it has problems, to be honest,
I
but
think so too, but it needs to be.
the funding has to come from elsewhere, and yeah, just, it doesn't even make sense.
I think you're looking at the Secretary of State, or the
CFO,
CFO.
yeah, that's good.
CFO's office.
Which ones? All right, so something that we had tabled, going on to 5B, we tabled before, put on the table again. The response to the Limestone Association, they've done nothing.
It was sent. Or like our response was sent, I remember,
I assume the town hasn't received it.
no.
Should we follow up with it?
I mean, so I'll give you the advice I give clients. If they don't do anything about it, just ignore it.
Well,
Yes, that's what they're doing. Ignore it.
Right, exactly. So not saying that's like, I was there, if I'm saying to the Limestone Association,
Oh,
what are they gonna do?
I think that I'm on the same page as you, because that's exactly what I would advise a client. You had the last word, you can always take that high ground and say, bruh, we sent you a letter and you didn't respond. Only problem is this isn't, a
No,
legal case, and it's more of a court of public opinion type of thing.
Right.
Where we need to be seen as doing everything possible.
correct.
So I do think that a follow-up is merited.
But what,
I don't think that it's merited at this moment. I think that maybe the next meeting we could talk about possibly sending a follow-up. But even then, it would just be,
That's probably adopted.
Right,
about that.
right. So, well, I mean, I agree. We have to do something, can't just do nothing. I guess I would be ready for the next meeting for everyone to think about, all right, what happens to this, ignore it again.
They're gonna ignore it.
Which they would.
Which is fine. Which is fine, but you build that paper trail.
Agreed.
You know, it's just like in our industry where I'll have an email thread that is literally like. The original email and then, hey, following up, hey, following up, hey, sorry to pest you, just following up, hey, just following up.
And then you'll follow your motion.
The one that cares about it ends up being the judge. In that situation here, it's the court of public opinion that, and frankly, them, because when we now go to the state reps, the next time, we can actually show the paper trail, show we have done everything in our power, not, oh, we have one letter that we sent them.
And I agree with you, Brian, but I also, with all due respect, we're showing Miramar, we're doing what we're supposed to do, we're
Oh,
showing
no, of
PSN,
course.
we're showing,
Show
Riviera,
everybody.
because Miami Lakes is like,
I'm sure.
I mean, you need the paper, but everybody is getting the message.
Oh, yeah, definitely. This is more,
This is like a global message, this is like a Northwest District message,
this is more of a, hey, I brought receipts.
more outside than inside.
You know, this is more of a, hey, I brought receipts. It's a more powerful thing of saying, well, hey, have you tried reaching out to them? Yeah, here you go, look.
It's an exercise in facility, but you have to keep on
Correct.
trying.
Right.
We discuss, I mean, obviously, we have our own responses. Should we discuss trying to do something joint with other, I mean, with the Miramar blasting albums
The
that have
Miramar
the same.
thing for some reason hasn't regrouped, I mean, we've been.
Not active yet?
No.
They're active.
They're active, but they're not like us. I've been to their meetings.
But have the mayor Doral, I mean, we can give them 7 letters, right? If we can give them 7 letters at once, we send our letter, send them on the council.
Maybe that's.
The only thing,
Well, for example, Doral was not at the meeting. I thought they were gonna be there. I
If-
thought we invited all the cities. They didn't go.
if I can kind of just make this one point about intergovernmental affairs. I caution us from it due to the fact that it's great to work intergovernmentally. Let's work together with Miramar. Let's work together with this Northwest Dade,
The real
Southwest
participants.
Broward region. However, what I don't want is some sort of more formal allegiance amongst us where we now become handcuffed by them and their lack of participation, where the Miami Lakes BAB wants to do something, but we're waiting to get a response from Doral or Miramar. That's the one thing I don't, I would like to-
We gotta move on with our.
At the end of the day, we've been very proactive. It's just that we've had a great cheerleading
correct.
at a group from that corridor, and I think we have to.
The only reason I bring that up,
Audience would be,
More solidarity.
listen,
there'd be nobody.
I only bring that up because you've been doing- you've been doing public service for 35 years, so you know how this works, where eventually someone
And
on,
that's what I said, not the route.
someone, forget about individual municipalities. I don't care if it's Doral, I don't care if it's Hialeah, I don't care who it is, in general. Someone in an elected official position is gonna get the bright genius idea of saying, let's create an intergovernmental workshop, committee, task force, whatever. What is it? A steering committee.
Okay, so then you
And
tell me,
then,
what does expanding BAB reach? Because that's what some of the elected officials are already talking about.
so that's my main point, where it's like,
Please define that little
well,
expanding.
I guess
BAB.
we'll get there, but
That's what they want to do.
but I would say just, I caution from
I agree with you.
more formalized dealings with other municipalities.
You're.
Oh, I follow him 100%.
I understand the formalized part, of that's nowhere near where
Yeah.
I'm going. I'm just saying, if to think about it,
100%
I agree to table it, and I'll come next meeting with really good ideas.
We can't keep paying one though, it's been.
Then let's respond.
That, I mean, if you wanna just do a very simple follow-up saying, hey, following up on our letter dated XYZ.
Thank you for your
We're
response.
we're eagerly awaiting your response. You know, if you want-
Yeah, I would rephrase a little bit, we're open to meeting, like we said, we're open to meeting, like open it up, saying, hey, just tell us when you want to meet, we're ready.
It's easy to say, thank you for your response. When can we schedule a meeting?
Well, they haven't responded.
Exactly, something like that.
And that's what I,
You're not gonna be sarcastic.
Well, you know what I'm saying, thank you, when can we schedule a meeting?
Yeah, we might as well just get that out.
I mean,
At least ask the question,
put it on the table.
and let them ignore you again, but at least you ask the question, now we're asking for
No,
a
like,
meeting.
put them on.
No, I'll motion that the board sends a response requesting an update based off the last letter and when the blasting association would like to meet.
I second that motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just as the point of discussion is, what are you gonna, do you need me to do it again, just since I did the last one, or do you, someone else, do you wanna do it?
I'll draft.
You have a copy of the original?
I have a copy. I'll
Okay.
draft it and share it, and then we should share it with everyone.
I vote,
And then we agree that we're gonna ask for a date, right?
yeah,
We're
we're
gonna say, we wanna meet.
You wanna meet?
That is-
As
Well,
for
We're
your
open.
your
We're
email
open.
offer this, we might, yes, we would like to know. Following open. What up?
Paragraph. You're right.
Literally.
Not even- Not even that page. Not even that.
It's like when you're
Put
asking
the
for
whole
discovery,
thing up then.
following up, following up,
Yeah.
following up. Okay,
Put it up
sixth
there.
time you're not doing it, motion to compel. Same exact idea.
Yeah, really. That's been on this agenda for months, this is.
So 6B, meeting with Mayor Kala,
What happened to 6A?
No,
No.
it's.
Oh, sorry.
That's very important.
expanding the reach, I'm sorry. I crossed out the wrong one, that's why. Expanding the reach is what I was referring to, was when I had contact or discovered in Fort Myers is having the same issue as we're having here. And when we were in Tallahassee, the Colson spoke about another area in north of Orlando, don't recall the area, that's having the same issue.
The villages?
No.
No.
No, that's in Weston, that's in, what's his country, what's his name, Trump's area.
So as far as other areas that are going through the same issues that we're having, I think we ought to approach them. Now, I approached somebody that was in Fort Myers, and when I sent them, we had a discussion at length. Guy's from New Jersey, and he's soon to retire architect. I was like, well, you can understand what's happening then, is this, and he went cold. Never heard from the guy again. Goes to me after that. But it's happening
People
there.
say the architects, I like to say, give me your freaking, show me what school you're an architect from, show me your transcript. That's probably why he went cold, he's probably not an architect.
No, he went.
What's the strata in Fort Myers?
Similar to here,
Similar to here,
yeah. So it's,
but they don't have enough.
it's the aquifer itself, I believe it's the saltwater, it's marshes,
Okay.
it's heavy marshes, so it's having infill, like, say west.
Yeah, it's very interesting, right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that sharing of resources is definitely a net good.
That's part of that.
You know, I do think that having conversations with them toward certain, maybe, this is where I worry, right? Where it's, we say, hey, let's get an agreement together to go to Tallahassee together to lobby this blasting issue. Now they have, you know, a South Florida and, or a Southeast Florida and a Southwest Florida governmental body showing up to lobby this. But then they don't show up, or they say, well, we're not able. My point being is, rather than it be like, hey, let's coordinate together, it's, hey, we're doing this, you're welcome to join. You know, that was the concern that I was outlining before, is we don't allow ourselves to be held up by anyone.
No, we have to take the lead in everything.
Correct.
We're the city that's being affected the most. We're the town that's being hurt the most at this time.
We're actually.
If somebody wants to join us, great. If not, we've got to move ahead.
Yeah,
That
that was the point that I was trying to make earlier.
Done deal,
Absolutely agree.
We had.
done deal.
We should be encouraging it though as well.
That's part of this.
And
That's part of
and
that.
the problem that we've all discussed, I know I bring it up every time since we're at a meeting, it's, given that we need state legislative movement. You know, there's 36 senators and 118.
Which is exactly what happened when I talked to Eddie Gonzalez.
The whole other side of the state.
After he came on Friday, he was the lobbyist, as you know, Eddie, and it was deadlocked in Tallahassee. He told me,
For what?
for all this issue, for all these laws. And yeah, a lot of people, half the people were from North Florida. And two from down here, one from the West Coast and one from the East Coast. We're never gonna get that. We don't get those people. up
And
there.
that's the point of networking. out.
And then we're gonna get.
So what would this,
We can get it.
So what would this look like? We would be reaching out to,
I don't know. I mean, one is, Myers is one, hotspot, we'll put it.
Wow.
Well, Doral, yeah, I mean, that's our area, but
Can't
Doral,
take care of our own people, we'll be worried about Fort Myers. I mean, whatever,
I
I'm
mean-
only making a comment.
It's just to try to expand the
it's
reach
networking.
and try to get some other lawmakers, especially on the other side of the state on our side.
It's
We need that.
Yeah.
If we
Nothing
don't
that
have
will
our
change.
people outside, how you gonna?
Well,
We have different representatives.
how do we know?
you know, sometimes friends are better than family, yes. Yes, sometimes friends are better than
Yeah, I
family.
know.
Yeah, I'm in mine.
Listen, I'll be honest
Sometimes
with
friends
you.
are better than family.
I don't really care how members of our council or local government officials or county or state who represent us, how they feel. I care about how they vote. Thus far, not a single member of our council has voted against our interests.
No.
That's the only thing I care about, their vote. That's why we put them there. Not we, but us as a
I
populace.
wouldn't
So-
against our interests, it's nothing, they have no jurisdiction over bluffing, so.
Well, no, they've always funded our trip, et cetera. So now, now,
The trip.
yeah, the trip.
But
Now, one second. That being said, they do more.
They have to do something.
Sure. Will they do more? Who knows? Will they do more if we have more public participation at our events? Our issue, the issue that we champion becomes a true center line hot button issue at debates, at candidates debates. It was brought up as a damn asterisk in the last debate, you know, barely brought up. Yeah, you know, I think that that then you would see not just funding of the trip, but you would see of other efforts of getting our message out there. You would see a doubling in complaints, you would see a much more proactive populace from that, but that takes public participation.
Brian, this is your first committee?
Mm,
Is this your first committee in the town?
It was,
I'm only asking.
yeah, it was.
Okay, because do not think that the other committees get funded when they have hundreds of people attending them. I'm just letting you know,
What?
that not all committees get funded at the level that the participation attracts. I'm just saying, when you talk
saying that the
funding,
other committees don't need hundreds of people to show up to meetings.
Of
Get what they
course,
need.
of course, and that's true, because certain things require certain
for
funds.
example, marketing.
And
marketing
also-
to me is paramount,
And also frankly,
and we can't even get marketing.
some committees have outside support, like Trail Bears. That literally funds itself practically. You know, there's other events that, or other. What do you call it, things that the town is willing to pay for because it makes it feel
Them feel
towny. Like the neighborhood improvement committee, you know, it makes it feel good. But I guarantee you stop doing those things, you're gonna have what, you will have more people in town hall over the stopping of the bike rides than over people's houses getting destroyed.
But that's your point. That's our point. That's what.
That's the point I'm trying to make, right, Steve? Thanks, Steve.
And these are your homes. This is your
So when I
home we're talking about.
Market, the market something?
Well, to be fair, I mean, we didn't ask for marketing the last time, maybe we did for a little, like, the last time, I remember the meeting.
I think you did.
Let me, before we kind of cross over into that realm of the budget,
Okay, keep on
let me
going,
ask
Steve,
just about the BAB reach.
please.
I generally agree with expanding our reach so that we can kind of let other parts of the state that are being affected know so that they can join us. Not, we don't commit to anyone, we're not on anyone's schedule because we are the most proactive and we don't want to be slowed down. by it.
So,
But we say, hey, we're going to Tallahassee on these dates.
He had a couple of names and I agree with Brian. Like Doral, I don't wanna be connected to them.
No.
No,
That's not the-
to no one. I don't want to be connected to him, to anyone,
Right.
whether it's city of Miami, city of Coral Gables, I don't care. I don't want to be connected to anyone because no one is as proactive as Miami Lakes. So anyone that we did attach the hip to would probably slow us down. That being said, if someone else wants to invite us to something
Yes.
and we can make it, we're happy to join. But if we're coordinating an event, we're not slowing ourselves down because they can't make it. That's the only point
Yeah,
I've
we
been trying to
agree
make.
with you.
To answer the short question, I would start with members of city council. Of those cities that are being, and specifically, if some city councils are at large, like Miami Lakes, other ones have specific districts. Depending on the city it is, specifically the district there, that's
Do you
where you
think
start.
present to them, or what kind of?
Just get a phone call,
Yeah.
get an email.
Before that, Miramar has a version of the BAB that's just very disorganized, right?
They're the originators.
They
of the-
originate
Correct, but does
the,
it still exist
yeah,
formally?
but
Okay,
they are rich, but they're, okay, so the problem with the way they meet, this is the problem. Their attorney has to be present,
very restrictive.
yes, so, but they are the originators of this committee.
Okay,
They also have the way that.
does Doral have one?
No.
Does Fort Myers have one?
Nobody has.
We're the
any.
only ones. Okay, so then I think Steven's correct. The first step is probably to reach out to the city council and see if more BAB type committees get elected, get formed. You have more people out there who individually are all pushing a similar message as ours, and then every so often we get together and gang up there, you know, and you know, cause a little bit of a ruckus, you know? And I want to point out too, you know, obviously his term will eventually expire.
I love the way he talks.
He's gonna be a senator afterwards, you know.
Wrong,
Right.
Yeah.
right? Good, let him be one. But he is familiar with our issue.
Oh, yeah.
He has denied us time and time again, but now it's in his back door.
Yes.
It's in his backyard. And if you get a BAB created in that area, in his area,
Oh,
now it starts really hitting home
Yeah.
to his own constituents, and he can't at least not flagrantly deny things the way that it's been denied.
Yeah, the good thing he wants to do, you know,
Yeah,
get to higher up.
Good luck that for that.
Right,
committee.
who we got?
wrong.
Hold on.
So I would just, I think that that's a point where,
So reach out,
well, yeah,
how do we do it then?
you're the chair of our committee.
What was an email?
Start with an email.
Reach out, start an email, see what the response is, and then we'll discuss.
What was an email?
Yeah.
How simple can that get? Oh yeah, Brian, you came back with a lot of. management, right?
In a minute.
It's
It's that passion. for
If I may
civic-
ask, through the chair, how did you guys do in this last meeting of town council? Did you guys make some headways?
I think we did. I was pleased in what we did. I think the meetings were at a higher level than we previously went. Including meeting with Colson, with my day pod program. Which was kind of. A point of mention while we were there, a blast hit and the complaints started flying. While he was on his laptop on the whiteboard, the complaints were streaming across like a ticker.
Although you did have 3 people that flat out told you to your face. It's not happening. You had a lady who said you're not getting the support, she just basically told you. You had, who I knew, Sweetwater, who deep in their pockets, he told you, ha, 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 ha.
Well, that one,
You
yeah.
had 3 people.
That one-
Basically told you.
I still have not spoken to everybody.
Is it,
I can tell you more. people things, but I keep it to myself. Right.
Sure, name.
Okay, and Miguel woke up that morning, he said, Esther, you were right, you had 3 people right to your face. Basic, in other words, we should have walked out when you said that.
And Esther changed his diapers.
Yeah.
I
Came at that
know.
meeting with the
Yes.
German professor. They told us not to even have that meeting. They
Yes.
called him,
Yes, yeah, they called me
they called him, to not have that
from
meeting.
the state. They said, there's a crazy meeting going on. Are you aware about it? Aware of it? I said, what meeting? It's on Monday.
Yeah.
I said, regarding the meeting, he says that they're doing some crazy findings.
I don't know. where-
Professor, and I said, it's my meeting. The president of UM is
You
doing.
guys able to get a hold of
You're
the
right.
governor? Nobody?
You can't even get here.
Right.
You want too much,
And he said, oh. So,
Who called you?
from the state.
they don't care.
Well, yeah, just start there with the email.
Just the
And that's
meeting.
There and then come back to us.
When's the meeting letter and email?
Yeah.
Hey. There you go.
Action items.
All right, item number, that's A. B. Meeting, Abel Fernandez has set up a meeting with, a town hall meeting with Kava. At the Country Club Miami.
I think it's June something.
I'd like to make a motion that this board then
21st.
make the request to the town council that they advertise that meeting on the town Miami Lakes website.
I think that's
I'll second that.
absolutely, they should blast it. Huh?
I don't know if it's done, but
It's not
it's in
done
queue.
yet. It's not done yet because I also do a public
Sorry.
record request to the town clerk. I just like to make sure that the town,
I want to second it for discussion, and then what did you just say?
Miguel came for public comments at last week's council meeting. And we heard what he was talking about regarding this meeting. So I requested that he send me info regarding that meeting so that we can help push it
And the
along our
town
social
clerk has
media channel.
well, the town clerk has a public records request from me, has one from Mr. Fernandez. We're just waiting to get the yes.
I think
I'm not
it'll be
sure
a-
about that. I just know that from the communication
I
end.
didn't say it's a committee, we should also agree in that motion.
When is the meeting scheduled for?
June 20.
20 something.
So the next council meeting will take place prior to
Yeah.
that. I think that,
I requested, I made a personal request to the council, to all council members, to attend.
We've been, and I've been. doing-
And to
I did
be
a
very
public record.
clear, so on the communications end, we already have the information that Miguel provided us with, so it's in queue to be posted.
But
So
that is
you will
not a
be-
blasting advisory meeting, that is.
No,
a meeting
it's an
being
external
independent.
thing, yeah.
Yes,
But
Just
we are
wanted
gonna
to
help
be clear.
promote it.
and it's in country.
yes.
Now, if you guys wanna see a very clear distinction, if you guys wanna see your council members' social media. If you wanna see their channels promoted,
Take it up with that.
that's something you have to personally
No, we
take up
just
with
want
them.
them like that.
We're talking
We
about
just
the,
have the autonomy.
so, no, that's not, I'm not concerned about that. You have that marketing already. It's way too early to start marketing. it
No, it's
anyway.
not, it's just in queue. to be done.
But it's also way too early, like,
Not to post it.
Exactly, it's not, it hasn't been posted. It
Yeah,
is
it's a
in
month and a half.
queue, along with
I've done
everything
it.
else.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's in queue.
So, no, my thing is, at the next town council meeting, we can actually ask them to not just that, but also make a,
He's already done that.
make a plea, in public comment, from each of us for the individual council members to share and attend, to share, and, but also share. And then, yeah, but do it publicly in a town
I
meeting.
go to meetings and I'll do it, but I know.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm suggesting, that we go and do that. Now, the other part is, maybe throw a couple dollars at it. I don't know if it's,
They don't need dollars.
no. I'm talking about throw a couple dollars to print a couple of flyers, man. I keep being so tired of seeing. I don't want to call them useless, but if you go in front of the council chambers, you see so many papers and
Like safety.
yeah, all these things there. And this is, as our mayor has stated, the most important legislative issue to our town. I hate that I don't see anything for blasting, like a permanent thing there. But then also specifically maybe like a little postcard type thing.
With that QR code, like
With the
for
QR
example.
code.
at the
That was
last
up
meeting-
there for some time though.
That one was up there for
Yeah.
a little
The
bit.
last meeting, that came crucial, that little
Yeah.
thing, everybody wanted to know,
Yeah.
remember, and then we didn't have enough, and then
I
it
had
was Spanish.
Somebody came up to me that, they only have Spanish, I mean, this is.
Because I came to get some and they were in Spanish.
But that's the more general one. That's the more general one. I'm even talking about a specific one for an event like that.
Like this.
You have a very high ranking official who's showing up. I don't care about the politics. I don't care
Thank you.
about her party. At the end of the day, she's the elected official who, other than at the state level is, as you said, there's an entire section of our county code that's not being enforced. And she's someone who could potentially change that. So
Yeah.
I would like to see a great showing there, and especially from our town, which, as we stated, is the most
Can
effective.
you
So
make a motion about the little cards, please?
I don't even think it needs to be a motion, but I'm happy to make it as a
Well, if
motion.
we don't make
But
it,
first we
then
need to, you made a motion though, before that.
I made a motion.
And I seconded it for
that
discussion.
The committee,
You're requesting for the flyer, to make flyers with the QR code only, or?
No,
for the
no.
Flyers that we had made.
no. Go ahead, Brian.
A flyer promoting that particular meeting. Which, the Tava one.
Oh,
I thought
the remote one.
you were going.
Yeah, okay, then
No. I think that there should be a very
Yeah.
general postcard style one that should always be on that table at all times.
Right.
But separate and apart from that,
You can hand them out.
we can request that in our budget. Listen, we can request that in our budget. For the purposes of this discussion, this should be a extraneous request from the counties, the town's discretionary spending, or whatever the hell account they call it. For $100, $200, so that they can print postcard size things for that event, so that we can pack that house.
Well, that house is gonna be packed.
Well, it's,
The first time it was on overflow.
well, good, and it should be like that again. And then lastly, I think that we should all be there, depending on schedules, obviously.
The few points. One, it's not a town sanctioned event. Keep that in mind. I'm being asked to go and to present.
I don't
Who's
think,
asking?
who's asking you to say,
I spoke with.
present?
Probably the guy.
I don't think
You mean
that
these,
the
So, but I
BAB is
will
gonna
go.
be presenting, but.
It's
if you
not the
say so-
BAB, that's my point. It is me personally will be speaking. I'm not presenting that it's gonna be presented for consensus and approval and all that. And I already have some choice words, accumulated, assembled, that may not fare well. Because they're gonna be strong. But I think. they
Well, then
need to be
maybe you
said.
should present, Miguel. Maybe if you're gonna be strong, I think that the last meeting we had there was awesome. And I think, I don't care who we are, where we come from. I think we need to have a great positive meeting because you know there's gonna be a lot of people present. So I really hope you don't have strong words because I'm not interpreting your words, but I guess we'll talk later.
Yep, that's why it's not a town sanctioned, that's fine, it's not a town sanctioned event, so, and I will not be,
At the end of the day,
I will not be
we're gonna go-
representing the town.
Who's hosting this meeting?
Abel Hernandez.
He rented out the country club.
Yeah, well, he belongs to the Democrat, I'm assuming, I don't know, but he belongs to the Democrat side of South Florida, and they rent the club out. Their monthly meetings are there, so that's how the previous one I've been referring to, how that happened there and why it was there. They used one of their monthly dates.
So this is really a meeting of the county,
Four TV stations for that.
this is a meeting of the county Democratic,
No.
This is a meeting for the public to talk and speak.
This has no party.
This is no.
Affiliated.
well, I'm just asking because he said it. and I didn't see it.
Party, no politics, no nothing.
So who's hosting?
I guess, yeah, that's the question. If there's a flag.
Organizing. Organizing is able.
So just go say meeting with Mayor Kava. I haven't seen like the actual.
Oh, yeah, there's an invite already.
Okay.
It's just.
All right, I'm gonna move to table discussion then, because,
There's nothing on the table. We don't have a meeting next.
well, just the discussion on it, on any action items, including the ones
I have a-
just presented.
I have a quick
So
question for
we
you
just
guys.
agreed that we asked the town to put it on their website. Miguel asked.
As an
I
external
asked-
thing, though,
yeah,
it's
an
not a
external.
town.
Yeah,
I didn't ask it on the website. I asked the council members to be there in attendance.
My quick question for you,
Or-
because I'm hearing different things. So who is the actual host of this? And I only ask because I would like to know if they already have a pre-made invite. That would be a lot
Right.
easier to share rather than,
And
create something that's not ours.
Abel
Abel
Hernandez.
Hernandez is the organizer.
And if you speak
Can
with
you send
Gina,
me?
if you speak with Gina already has it document.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so there's already an invite. Like a
I don't
graphic.
know, I don't know if I don't know if there's an artwork created thing.
Okay,
It's some text.
but
that
he's
he-
using something to promote it and we should just use.
We have all over social media on it. And it's basically what I sent you guys. It's a copy paste from that.
Oh, okay, so,
It's very,
Okay.
there's no artwork thing. It's
okay,
just
okay.
an announcement. But I did receive an email from Thomas Akala
I was about to, that's why I wanted to know before.
inviting me, and I'm like, I'm
I've
already.
seen the post on.
Okay, so I won't even bother, because it's not their thing.
Before we keep running out of time, let's move to the budget, which is definitely an item that we need to get.
Yeah, so, 6C budget, I'm proposing this similar to, what we did last year, which, can happen. It's basically the same numbers, I mean, what
Yeah,
else is there?
so let me pull up. I
Yeah,
think
please
we
pull
have,
it
but
up.
maybe, let me go pull it up. Pull up the last one.
The last one you guys
I
proposed,
guess they don't work, thank God they don't have a budget like us, huh?
the last one that you guys proposed,
Yes.
Yeah,
I
You
have it,
remember what meeting that was?
I have it, give me a moment.
I don't
I'll
have
get it.
6C.
No, we
haven't
used
used
that. Oh, it's right before the budget meeting, so it must have been August or September.
She'll tell you.
Yeah, I just
Give me a
wanna
moment.
have it signed.
Here, you guys approved it May 25th last year, your meeting.
Oh.
So the total of $13,800. You have 4 line items. The first one was lobbying, $11,000 for travel costs to Tallahassee. The second was materials of promotion, 1,000 for printed flyers, leaflets for distribution of information. The third one was for committee shirts, $800. And the fourth was for events. So it was $1,000 for cost of mandatory police presence. A total of 13,800 is what you guys took to council.
And I have, am I am I right to say that that $11,000 is not on the last thing, because this committee, this advisory board should not be paying $11,000 for the lobbyists that should be coming out of the town's budget, lobbying budget.
No, but this was for you guys to take your.
Total package of the trip over this year,
I just want to make sure that the word lobbying, I don't want to do it.
our lobby.
Oh, not lobbyists.
The BAB.
I think that we made a mistake last year in being conservative with our budget. I think that we have to adopt the unfortunate old government principle of ask for way more than what you need. Because that's a frank reality that they're gonna reject us, might as well reject us over 15 or something like that, rather than exact, like, we're here like master, please. And
Culture affairs.
Yeah, let me finish. well, the problem is, we calculated how much was our budget request?
13,000.
13,800. We didn't ask for 14,000 because our math was we need exactly 13,800. We got 0.
I would say, I was watching the budget hearing. What happened is they just said they were trying to get the millage rate as low as possible, and just said no committees will raise their budgets from last year. And we didn't have a budget last year.
Right. So
Right, they didn't even look at
it. Months ago, when we did our budget workshop, we had a surplus of $12.3 million. So we've had a surplus for 6 years in a row,
I know.
and they can't give you what you're asking for. I agree with
Wasn't
you.
it $1 million at the end?
12.3 after they reallocated it, 12.3 million. So I agree with Brian.
But it's not,
Received.
agreeing with Brian or not, or his ask or not, I think is irrelevant, because we need true numbers. So whether we ask for that,
Well, you have true numbers, but you have to add money in there for marketing.
Right.
we had some.
Yeah, it was 1,000.
That's again.
I mean, my point is they never actually looked at it.
That's,
Yeah.
I'm
They
getting
never actually looked at it. They didn't say, no, you know what, I don't want to give them out. They just made it like.
and I think it wasn't fair to us.
It was,
Beyond
I was about to text a few of the members and then they passed.
It wasn't fair to us because we're the only ones that don't have any budget.
I agree. So,
So-
but I also agree with Brian saying, but this, we should ask for more than what we asked last year.
I mean,
And let them come back and say no.
also, just a point of reality is from when we asked for this money last year, at what time? This same
May
time?
20th.
Prices were different.
Prices were different. The
Yeah.
cost of paper, the cost of ink, everything, the cost of literally everything has gone up. So that 1,000 truly does not get you very far. It gets you maybe a couple of printouts. I don't recall if the 11,000 included the cost of printing, the booklets.
The 11,000 just for the trip and 1,000 for a promotional period.
I think that would have been the promotion for the trip.
Correct.
But I
So-
will tell you what the actuals are here.
No, you have to give me a moment.
Yeah, I mean,
I know you-
So.
well, I recall, what did I tell you it was? I texted you what it was for the booklets. Cause I put it on the card. Now I don't remember what
The
it
actual
is.
cost of the book.
Now, look at.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you want to start talking, if you want to start talking numbers, the 11,000 depends on how many people go on this trip. We want to keep it open to the entire board. We got to keep that number around there.
And we don't, and the amount of the board, that was the big problem that we have. The amount of the board members are fluctuating.
Right.
So, which is why I think when we had do an ask, because there was no budget, we down to 5 people.
It was very like,
Yeah.
God, we did a good job.
I think we did a hell of a job of that. One car, one rental,
But-
yeah.
But if we want to leave the option open to have not just 5 people, then I think 11,000, that number still probably works. It's about getting these other numbers up.
Okay.
And making sure you go on an off week. Like we did this time, that
Yeah.
lowered the price. big.
Right, instead of going on present, right,
Well,
correct.
it's getting the plane tickets timely,
Well,
not.
no, but like he said, we did it on an off week and that number went off.
Yeah,
It
it,
was $616 for the booklets.
okay.
Yeah,
So-
I remember saying that.
Want to double that. And that's
Flights,
just for the
flights
trip.
early, so they're less expensive.
601.
616.
6, 7, okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, 616 and change. Yeah, I do think that you said
Double.
1,200.
I mean, I don't know if you want to do it piecemeal, but, and someone wants to make a motion, but
We
I would
have to do
say,
line item.
Well, no,
We
no,
have to do line item by line item and agree today.
Okay,
okay,
Well, it's 200 things.
all right, I would. I
And you
would-
need, and I'm sorry, I just want to make sure you get that. So it's per line item, the amount and justification next to it. Because if not, it's not going.
Do you want to go line by line? Let's go with marketing.
It will, I mean, I shared the date with you guys.
No, but I know, I'm not talking about that, I'm talking about.
I make a motion to
Amend.
recommend $1,200 for the marketing.
Well, that's just the marketing just for the trip.
Yeah, well,
What are you
Yeah.
we
marketing
have
in
to do
general?
it line by one.
Well, no, we should do one for the trip and then one. in
Right, but we
general.
already have 1,200
Correct.
there.
I would say that.
rather than call it that, let's call it informational material.
Okay.
So it's, so we separated from promotional, which will be its own line item. So that one, you said what, 1,200?
Yes.
Yeah,
The informational is 1,200 separate, that's in general.
And I would say, let's just have a general
So then we
discussion.
can put it
Let's
all
get all the
under
line
one
items. Let's just have a general discussion, have all the line items. and then-
And then do the whole.
Yeah. So that's, and then you still kept just the 11,000 for the trip. itself.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah.
11,000.
I think that
should do it, especially if we plan it a little bit earlier.
For the trip.
And little postcards for
Which I think it's
the, for
early next
the,
year.
That's gonna be a separate
Yeah,
line.
We're
item.
talking about,
Earlier.
if you're talking about,
Yeah, it's not.
Earlier
it's
next
not a-
But do you have the breakdown of
Can
what
we-
makes it?
I would look at our last trip and.
Right, I know, do you have it there?
I have,
Well,
it,
but,
I have, it, yeah. I have
she'll
it
give it to us, because she has
Yeah,
actually.
we just take that number and here's the breakdown, makes it.
So I have to check like 1,000%, but I think from what I'm looking at, it looks like you guys spent 4,800.
This time around.
Yeah,
Right.
this time.
The
Yeah,
previous
it's
one
about
is a big one. This time around, because we limited how many people went. Or
You
what
want
they
you
approved,
want me to check last year?
yeah, if you have it. What they
No,
approved.
I would use that number. And because that's more realistic this year's number is more realistic.
But
next
but
year.
limited amount of people that went.
Double it. It's 5 people. We're not even 10 people, honestly, we have to double it. In reality, we don't
That's
need-
fine with me.
I would keep it where it is.
I would keep it
I
11,000.
To be honest with you, comparing the two, I think we're much more effective, the smaller group. To
But even then-
manipulate and move.
Well, I mean, it's not a big group regardless.
No,
Even then, I would say you make the ask, let them lower it, but also remember, it's every time you have one of these budgets, that budget is a not to exceed. You know,
Right.
so you have 11,000 available to you, doesn't mean you have to use it. We're all very
you said.
fiscally minded people here. We don't have to use all 11,000.
We doubled it.
Yeah.
It is 9,600.
Correct.
Correct.
So it's still under what we budgeted previous time, or what we
Okay, let's-
proposed. If we doubled what we did, it's 9,600. It's still under
Correct.
what we did.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And
so keep it at 11,
keep it in.
and then we said what, 1,200 or 15
1,200 for information.
for informational material?
And can we
Does
have
that-
500 for little postcards for the,
We'll get there. Let's finish with the trip. Did that 11,000 originally also include like the per diems and stuff like that?
That was for everything.
Yeah.
That was for everything. Okay, got it. So then now, okay, now let's move away from the trip. I agree with her. I would actually say $2,000 for
the little,
promotional materials. For
In
the
general.
postcards, the item,
the
the,
additional.
what is this? She said the justification should be postcards, general postcards as well as event specific postcards and other promotional materials to amplify the visibility of the BAB.
And then I have one question. I'd like to board this committee to consider business cards. Other committees have generic business cards. They're called generic. and we just give
Say
them out,
Class Advisory Board.
that's it,
Well, should you have
Other
these
committees do
two?
that?
I mean,
Yeah,
should people
we do
have
that.
these two,
we do that.
if you guys want that.
That would be nice.
I mean, we do that and we
These
just
two.
give them out when you go
You
like
gotta
to
wear
a
that
Miramar,
this
or you
meeting.
go to a blasting event or something.
That's, not this
Just
meeting.
seeing them.
you do
Yeah, but
that.
that's not.
Yeah, no, it's a good idea.
How do the other
Yeah,
committees
we
do that? I don't-
Generic,
So they don't say names?
no, they don't.
Okay,
say
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you
Now I
have
understand what you're saying.
they have the cards. They have it, Miami Lakes have it.
Yeah.
Just not for the BAB.
I have it. I have it in the card.
Not for the BAB.
No.
But it should say BAB on it.
I have,
So-
if you
so-
want to say BAB,
Listen.
BAB, not Miami Lakes.
Just
I got it in the card, I'll show you.
that is, that would be included in promotional materials.
I'm just saying, would you
I
consider that
think so.
idea, because like we go to events.
I think that makes sense.
They-
At that point, that's just a motion at a meeting. Hey, we have this amount of dollars.
Exactly, right, the next meeting.
That's it.
Come for public
And
comment.
that's what the card has, that's what the Miami Lakes card has, I'll show you now.
Because at the back, when you turn it around. you
Yes.
have to Put the next meeting, am I
It
right?
has it there. I'll show you the cards now.
He's gotta make sure it's not you.
I'll show you the cards. I'll show you the cards. Get my card.
Yeah. Then,
Promote public
But
comment.
that's part of the promotional,
and then,
how we use it.
Yeah.
yeah, I would say, $2,000. It's fine.
2,000.
That'll include enough for the postcards for a set of like 100 of those business cards, because really you shouldn't need more than them. Like we split that. You shouldn't be handing those things out like hotcakes.
It's
Those are the specific cards.
Yeah, if I do a 500 print, whatever.
Next time I go to the chamber and somebody asks me for the blasting, you know what I'm giving them, right? I had one of those.
And actually, it
You're gonna
should
need, you're gonna need one of those, July 12th.
with the date and time.
What?
It should say blasting advisory board and meeting, third Monday of the month, 7 p.m.
It's just a question as to whether the double-sided print is gonna add a cost.
We have
If it's
the
minimal,
double-sided.
should we do a repeat of the photos?
I think so.
I think we should ask. I mean, at this
We
point,
had 800 last budget.
yeah, because it was like literally 8 times 100, because how much it was gonna be. It's just like, oh, okay, those are expensive, mine cost $30.
Not quite 100.
We had the shirts as well.
That's what.
Yeah, that's what you did.
That's what he meant, that's what he meant.
Anything else?
The only other thing we have is $1,000 on the next present. I don't necessarily.
That's the very bad.
That was.
Yeah, that was the bike rides.
Right,
Yeah.
that's the only time we needed it was the bike.
May I make a suggestion? Remove that from the budget. And then if it becomes needed, we replace it with sponsorship.
Yeah, we could probably get the sponsorship. I mean, last time we didn't even need it. The police had extra overtime. We paid for it.
Well, we did pay for 2, I think. And they all
Oh,
showed up.
you're right. We paid for 2 and then they added.
Okay, like you're talking about $1,000 line item in a budget, that's something that like, private members, can do. Trust me, I wrote off Angelo's sign in my tax bill already, so. When it came tax time, I was like, right on.
We get taxes, good for you.
Yeah,
Mine's on the-
good for you. I don't, I'm too pretty to
I'm
you.
gonna say.
My accounts, I got.
I teach federal taxation, and mine's on the section.
So can you repeat that?
Yeah, so I have 11,000 for 2-night, 2-day trip lobbying for legislative change in Tallahassee. I will put in what we used last time. I think it was 150 a night. 600 airfare.
That's fine.
I'll put in the same exact numbers.
I mean, I would just still just put like numbers are based on today's value.
Right, correct. Something like that. 2,000 and then 1,200 for
Can
informational
you send
material.
me?
13, okay.
'Cause I can't.
1,200 for informational material for just the trip.
The blank
2,000
thing I
for
gotta
promotional
present.
materials, postcards, for specific events, handouts, informational sheets, amplify. Someone wants to give me what they
I don't know
said,
what I said.
the purpose, I'll like. it for
Okay,
myself.
good. So 15 to
And then 800 for commissions.
16.
Nice
I'm
round.
just gonna send you what you
I think that's.
guys submitted last.
And then,
I'm gonna send you what you recommended last time, you just said it.
we adjourn to
Did I get
order.
did I get the number?
Oh, last.
I'd like, no,
Perfect.
Where did I add the time?
that's what happens when they don't have a treasurer.
There's the police. Yeah.
It's government, money just disappears.
You know,
What do you?
All right, well, I move to adopt that proposed budget for presentation to the town council.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes.
Total, yeah, total is 15,000.
16?
15, 25.
Good job. And what was the total of that she just sent you? Or she could have sent it to you?
13,800 was last.
13.8.
That's what you guys requested.
I think it's fair enough.
All right.
Good job, Brian.
So that is the budget, council, report to council. So does the budget included in the report? Or that's a separate?
So the budget is part of that. Is that what you were asking me to send you? I'm sorry, I sent you
No,
the
you-
last year.
That was a report that you had sent me. one
Is that
time.
what you
I can't
just
find it.
requested?
Yeah.
Oh, I just sent you the last.
Yeah, there's a format.
Format, yeah.
Yeah. I'll do it to
Actually,
you
if you can send me last year's budget as well.
now.
She
Yeah.
can send it to everybody.
If I can make this next line item very simple and easy, you know, you're the chair, you're gonna do it. We've heard the same spiel 1,000 times about what we've done. I don't think we need to have much further discussion. I would move to designate the chair to author a report to share it with the committee prior to publication, and then barring negative feedback, that you proceed.
All right,
Something
well,
we are wanting is that you find that.
Yeah, kind of like what we did with the response letter. That way we move it.
And they're gonna give him a boilerplate, there's a boilerplate.
That's what I'm waiting on. So I just want to get that.
So that's my motion.
It's very just.
There's nothing,
Well,
there's no sustenance
the
yet.
motion is to give you the authority as our chair who knows what's going on to just do it, and then you share with us.
And you want to talk to us, it's fine. We
You don't want
trust
to listen, I hear you.
Yeah, we're very,
All
we're
in
trust.
favor?
Aye.
So that's-
Steven, just to be clear, I need minutes for today's meeting, like you guys making that approval.
Yeah.
In advance of the meeting, because if not, I'm not able to, add it to
He's
it.
got to attach it to the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
This is what.
When's the meeting? I'm gonna try to do
I'll tell you the deadline.
Miguel, on the next agenda.
That's
we
just
try
for
to
the
addition
budget.
to
Right.
the agenda.
Say it again.
One, number two, after roll call, before public comments, addition deletion.
After roll call. Because you have to establish
Yes, after
form.
roll call,
If you can have it to me by 8:30,
because she has that on all the.
which is the
agendas.
Tuesday prior to the conference.
Yeah,
We used to have, I
Or,
think, maybe. I don't know.
I'm gonna try, I'll try to get it to you, buddy.
okay,
That's what I'm putting in my calendar.
There's all the.
and this
budget-
council meeting is June 6th, just important point there, because they're normally the second week, and this was the first Tuesday.
Yeah, it is.
Is that a Tuesday? That's a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Birthday's on the third of this week.
Hmm. Okay, so that's right down the date.
Yeah, right, actually, I mean, present.
Oh, now you want a present,
I take checks.
You're
and-
92,
but the other
right?
time you didn't want a present.
You're 92.
You know I'm gonna buy you something
I know.
else, like, what's your favorite color? What's your wife's favorite color?
Whatever I get. Diamond. Diamond is her favorite color. Anything else?
You know, he's wearing
Yeah.
it.
Did you send me this?
July 12th. And the next chamber luncheon. We're having over Brian Avila, Tom Fabrizio,
For what?
and Rizzo,
Okay.
do legislative update. As it pertains to the town of Miami Lakes, the good, the bad, and the ugly. July 12th, July 12th, Miami Lakes in July 12th,
And we
Miami Lakes chamber
can
luncheon.
sign up for that one.
42, yeah. I don't think we can not yet though, in June, So-
Can you, how many people here will be at the July 12th meeting?
July 12th.
Let's go,
Which is the July 12th?
July 12th,
Wednesday.
Wednesday,
But is that the chamber?
Miami Lakes, yeah.
Wednesday, July 12th, how many will be present at that
I'm
meeting?
there.
Is it an emergency invitation?
No, no.
No,
you're-
No, it's for the chamber, the chamber.
That's what they-
How much is it?
It's 30
Well,
30 bucks. Last time I checked, it was really hard.
time now, it's 30.
No, there's something else.
Since I'm on the
Can you
one.
get some?
Can you tell me, are you coming?
I'm ready for the in my calendar.
How many chambers welcome?
Yeah, so.
Well, can you tell them to Monday?
Oh, you're there.
Welcome.
I'm. Steven, Mr. Angelo,
Rudy,
I'll think about it.
um,
Rudy.
well, I already have.
Yeah, yeah.
Brian?
You said July twelfth,
July 12th, it's a Wednesday, 12 to
11:30.
2, 11:30 to 2.
11:30 to 2?
Yeah.
I
Brian,
see
you
what we
come?
It's on my
discussed.
calendar.
Thank
And,
you.
I think that-
Angel?
This was what we discussed
Okay,
at
no
the chair
problem.
meeting.
Miguel, are you coming?
And the meeting, the items that we discussed at the chair meeting, the report to council, what the items to include. You sent me two examples,
That,
is this one, special needs,
Yeah, but you just have to update it with your info.
right, but they have activity, amount, initiative and events. and
If
future
it
projects.
doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply, but that's the something.
But we also had, it was to discuss,
I don't. think we could do it
attendance,
anyway.
to discuss, I want to call them accomplishments.
But that's where like your initiative, whatever your project is.
Yeah, right there. That'd be great. Let's get it up to the effect of the lakes. You know, not just, you know,
Those are the.
hey,
I mean, sure.
it's not the public, you know how it is. 11:30.
All right,
I
I'd
mean,
like to,
usually. But that's something.
You got
that's
it.
what you're inside.
12 to,
And in terms
12,
of.
12. July 12th,
He counts his calendar, listen, they both got.
July 12th.
if it's not here, it doesn't happen. So I move to adjourn.
Third,
We're done?
third.
It's up to you.
Where was I?
I don't know.
Oh, you- July 12th.
Miguel, is it on your calendar? Yes or no? I'm putting out, I'm gonna confirm for our attendance.
Okay.
Yes? Calendar? No, on your phone. You need to put it on your phone. You have a busy schedule with your wife and your practice and everything. Miguel, yes?
Or what day is it?
July 12th,
July 12th.
11:30.
11:30.
It's a Wednesday.
Oh. Okay.
11:30 to 2.